You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where it's Test Match Special over here. England, they lose 2-1 to Pakistan after a promising start to the series. They will get spun out again. India, they lose as well. That's big news. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Ross and Max. That was a terrible intro. We need to do more podcasts so that we get better at that kind of thing. How are you doing, Ross?
I'm great, mate. I'm sitting next to our trophy, Jack, for I Don't Like Cricket Club as league champions. So not only are we one of the greatest cricket podcasts in the world, we're also two of the best cricketers in Hackney.
Yeah, no, that's official. I am the best captain. That's a fact in Hackney.
MS Hopi, not MS Dhoni. MS Hopi is what they'll be calling you now, aren't they, in the comments?
Well, hopefully. And I feel that recognition, long time coming.
Take that, Dad.
People should have been recognising my brilliance for years. Max, you're also here. No trophy for you. How are you coping, you trophyless loser?
To be honest, I barely live, barely survive. I don't know. My life has no meaning. The other thing that Jack has in common with MS Dhoni is that he'd be an uncapped player in the IPL. I think that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen them in the same room.
We'll probably do a longer list if you want, but
we'll leave it there.
Yeah, why not? As I said, we'll be talking England v Pakistan, mainly the third test. Maybe we'll look back across the series as a whole. Some poor performances from some of the England boys, particularly in that second and third test. Then we'll be talking New Zealand v India. A result, I mean, let's be honest, nobody saw coming. The chances of New Zealand winning one test pretty long. They've won two. They could whitewash India. That would be pretty funny. And there's a few other bits. Gary Kirsten has been sacked as Pakistan white ball coach. To be honest, boys, didn't even notice he was the white ball coach.
He's resigned. I'm not sure has he been sacked or has he
resigned, sacked. It's all the same, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's all the same. There's some IPL retentions, deadline stuff. I don't know if we're going into loads of detail on that. We probably should do a special show on it. Bangladesh lost to South Africa. Their captain wants to quit. And England will head off to the Caribbean. But let's get into England v Pakistan first, boys. After I mentioned very briefly that this show is presented by Manscaped, head over to manscaped.com. Use the code CricketPod for 20% off plus free shipping. More on that later. England v Pakistan. Max, what happened in the third test?
Third test, similar to the second test in terms of the preparation of the pitch. Two more big fans at either end. It's what we like to see. The new technology being employed in the world of Test cricket. Pakistan are pioneers, and props to them for that. England, all important winners of the toss this time. We thought that maybe that would give England a route into victory. Another Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett 50-run opening partnership, and things were looking settled. Then the usual happened. Noman Ali got those two out. Sajid Khan then took out Pope, Root and Brooke. England were all over the place, and it took a pretty impressive innings from Jamie Smith, who bashed 89. And to see England to a decent first innings score, it looks fairly tricky to bat. There was a lot of spin. Ben Duckett got one that kept low. We thought it might be one of those games that was over quite quickly. 267 England put up, and that looked pretty tasty when they had Pakistan 99 for 4 after Sham Masood fell. But Saud Shakeel anchored that innings with a really, really impressive 134, getting the three figures that Jamie Smith couldn't quite. But even then, after he was out, 177 for 7, all the sevens, England would have been looking at a handy first innings lead. But not to be, because Noman Ali and Sajid Khan, England's tormentors, first with the ball, now with the bat, both hitting useful 40s, and it was a fairly decent lead for Pakistan in the end. There were jokes about whether England would force Pakistan to bat again, which turned out to almost not be jokes because England collapsed in a heap. It was all the same as you would expect when England are faced with turning deliveries. This time, Siam Ayub opened the bowling to deny us once again seeing only the faces of Noman Ali and Sajid Khan with the ball in England's second innings. Didn't make much of a difference. 112 all out, boys, and that was that. It was
6 win.
It was it was England in India, England in Pakistan, England. What? Why? Why can't they bat? Why can't they play spin? Explain it to me.
Because they're not very good at it. I like Ben Stokes' response to it. He was asked, "Do England have a problem with spin?" And he was like, "If I look deep down, and I haven't got the exact quote in front of me, if I look deep down, and I don't really want to look deep down, I think is what he followed that up with. Then yes."
I don't like finding the root cause of things. I much prefer superficial analysis.
Who am I to say from the outside looking in what the role of the England captain is? But arguably, it is to look a little bit deep down and ask questions like, "Are we tremendously dreadful whenever the ball turns, and should we do something about it?" I think actually, to be fair to England, and we talked about this a bit on the last pod, I think, Max, it would be useful to get your view probably too, Ross. We did sort of say, what's the point in them learning? The next time they go,
that's true.
The next time they go to a place where you'd expect the ball to spin a lot, I think is Bangladesh in 2027. It'll probably be a new team by then. Might as well practice for South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and I suppose there must be a West Indies tour in there at some point in the interim. I mean, like, genuinely, can you see Ben Stokes playing in 2027? Probably not. I think Duckett's alongside a 30. Root might not be there. Root probably doesn't need to practice it to be fair to him. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're right. They can't win the World Test Championship. They are what they are, which is on a plane to New Zealand. Ross, any thoughts on that?
Well, Matt Roller on ESPN today wrote an article saying England have squandered 3 opportunities to play the World Test Championship final at home. And we were nowhere near any of the years. Absolutely nowhere near. And it was just like, have they really squandered that opportunity, or do they just not really care about the competition? No. He highlights that they were playing kind of Josh Hull in that space. Ben Stokes came out and said that Shoaib Bashir is learning on the job. What better place to learn on the job? Well, but maybe not Test cricket is not the best place in the world to learn. But here we are. So yeah, it was a pretty abject batting performance from England, and the pitch wasn't actually that bad. Yes, Ben Duckett got a bit of a grubber did get a grubber, not a bit of a grubber, did get one, but the rest just haven't contributed. Max, your poster boy, Ollie Pope, rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Zach Crawley. People have got the old stats out.
I have no defence for him there.
Yeah, it was just there was no other word for him. Stokes didn't really hit any runs at all. Only he's come back from injury. Zach Crawley hasn't hit a century, as the statisticians keep on going on Twitter, like 39 Test matches. Harry Brook scores runs on flat ones. Can he do it on turning pitches?
Yeah, flat track bully.
So there's big questions on that batting lineup. But Jamie Smith, I thought, applied himself reasonably well, and he's one of your other Surrey poster boys, Max, and
we've got lots of them.
He looks really quite good. And then the other part is England's spin department. Jack Leach has come in, has completely outshone Shoaib Bashir, has bowled relatively well, but Shoaib Bashir is having a tough time at school at the moment.
You mean the guy who's got proven record of being quite good at bowling spin in red ball cricket did better than the tall bloke that they randomly picked that time?
That is what has happened on this occasion, Max. But is Jack Leach the spinner who's going to get you to winning an Ashes, or is attributes going to work? And that's the bit that we're working with at the moment.
I do quite like the dynamic. The tools, what's the other one?
Spools?
I know what. No, there's like two. Right, so there's 2 schools of scouting. There's tools scouting, which is to look at someone's attributes, as you called them, and be like, I can project that a tall guy who is able to bowl 60 miles an hour and give it.
I play against loads of those, Jack.
Do you? Who can give it loads of revs? You don't know.
Well,
I played
maybe not the revs bit. Maybe not the revs bit. But
you don't.
Plenty of tall guys who bowl at 60 mile an hour.
No, you can project that out and say, "Oh, well, that's likely to be good in Test cricket." And then there's the the other school of scouting, which is basically to look at what someone can actually do and try and apply whether that could progress or whether that would be replicable in in whatever you're scouting against, I suppose. They just weren't very good, were they? Basically, I mean, it's another one of those series. They kind of span it this way a little bit in India much earlier in the year, where they were like, "Oh, at times we could have won the match." It's like, well, yeah, that's not quite how it works, though, is it? Like,
Before it started,
it's all well and good saying that. Also, I liked things I liked from this match, and I'll be honest, I actually watched more of the India because they kind of clashed at the same time, and when it became clear that New Zealand might beat India, I was like, this is a lot more interesting than England going through the same motions again over in Pakistan. So I watched a lot of India, but earlier in the test, I caught a lot of the Jamie Smith stuff, and I really enjoyed after he got 89. Everyone being like, new number 3, make him the new number 3. It was instant. It was like,
he can score runs at 7. He must be able to score runs at 3. We've not tried this before. It was like Groundhog Day, wasn't it? It was like all of the Twitter comments, all of the people like writing into the BBC Live text straight away suggesting the same things. And then when England they fielded pretty badly in the first innings, Saud Shakeel in his 134 hits 5 boundaries. That's a long day. Like, he's done very, very well there. It's a proper grind it out innings, but England were flat. There was periods of play where they just kind of went through as like procession almost. And when England came out against the spinning ball, I put on Twitter that, I wonder how this is going to go. We've seen this before. They've got about 20 overs until the end of the day's play against people opening up a spin. What's going to happen? Ends up with them 3 down. Like, it was inevitable.
Yeah, a bit of a shambles. Max, give us some insight into Pakistan, because it's they were so bad in the first test. Then they did the classic Pakistan thing. They fired some people. They brought in an umpire as a selector. They downgraded the coach from coach to match day strategist, and then they've won 2 matches, convincingly won 2 matches.
Well, if you throw enough shit at a wall, eventually it works, right? That feels like the Pakistan approach to most things, and in this case, it did finally work. But I suppose the most of the credit for this Pakistan revival probably falls at the feet of
Alim Dar.
Noman Ali. Alim Dar. Yes, it was his idea, wasn't it? Supposedly, Alim Dar's idea to use the used pitch. But I mean, the people who've come and done the damage to England are Noman Ali and Sajid Khan. There was, we had Cameron Gulam with a good century in the second game, and Saud Shakeel with an excellent century in the third game from the batting point of view. But it's those two that have really ripped the heart out of England, and they even did it with the bat in this game. That point where England were on top and looking to secure a lead, and they came out and made it look quite easy with the bat. I think it's a problem that England have had quite a lot in recent times, working out how to get the tail out. Their tried and tested tactic is to bowl fast and short, and on a pitch like this, they were robbed of the ability to do that, and they didn't have an answer to them. So you've got to give them a lot of credit for that particular performance. But they the thing that impressed me the most from their approach with the ball, and what they probably realised England weren't able to deal with the bat, was how they varied their pace. It's something that England's bowlers could probably learn from a bit. I don't know if they do it enough, but Sajid Khan in particular, he had England's batters in all sorts of trouble just from the way he would either fire it in, skid it on, or take the bit of pace off. And it didn't look like England were able to pick that at any point. You had the Jamie Smith wicket where he came charging down, and the pace was taken off, and he was swinging through the shot. You've got the skiddier one that got Harry Brook, and it happened a couple of times in the second game as well, where England decided they were going to sweep everything and were premeditating sweeps against balls that were fired in at the stumps, and they just clearly had England's number, and there was not really much of an answer. And I think they obviously deserve it. Also, a big fan of Sajid Khan's his Urdu shouts of of laying some traps for England's Urdu speaking cricketers. They knew who they were, Pakistan. They knew who England's cricketers were who understood Urdu, and he basically made shit up, fed them bollocks.
He made shit up.
He was feeding them false info when they were on the field, telling them what they were going to do, and letting England understand, and then think, oh look, we've heard what they're going to do, and then do the opposite.
Like a kind of Trojan horse. Not the right military.
Probably not the right one,
Some sort of spy.
It's more like the ball in a cup trick. It's kind of what more they're doing, Jack. I wouldn't say Trojan horse is quite severe. And you're literally the England have been conned by some people in a park with some cups and a ball. That's what's
I don't remember that bit of the Iliad.
They've not built a massive horse. They won't suspect a thing.
Which team do you reckon is most able to pull off a Trojan horse in world cricket?
Maybe England. The number of times they've turned up in South Africa with a bunch of South Africans and beaten them.
Well, I was thinking, but wouldn't that South Africa pulling off the Trojan horse?
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So I was maybe South Africa. So they had quite a few Kiwis in South Africa. Labuschagne, he's South African. Yeah.
Devon Conway, is South African as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch out for South Africa, world cricket. Anyway, where were we? Talking about England.
Yeah, I think it was just ultimately a very disappointing. I was really impressed with Sajid. I think it was box office. He was brilliant with the bat. Came in and actually launched some sixes where people would kind of struggle to do so. And yeah, he looks like an absolute dickhead to play against, which I just absolutely love. Like his celebration. He gave Rian Ahmed the biggest send off, and like Rian Ahmed is like a kid playing Test cricket, and he's like in his face going, "Get the fuck out of here!" I was all for it. I thought it was brilliant. And Noman Ali, he's not blessed with looks, but he's blessed with spin ability. He looks like he's about 110 years old, and he's absolutely done England over. So yeah, same old story.
It's a while since we've done like an old bloke 11, isn't it? But he'd be straight in it.
Yeah,
I mean, he is actually 38 as well. So not only does he look old, he is actually quite old.
I mean, to be fair, I'm 32. If I look like that at 38, I'm very disappointed in my genetics, if I'm perfectly honest. Like he looks at least 50. Like he looks at least 50.
I haven't really.
To be honest, I reckon he could probably still do a job for Pakistan against England when he is 50.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. Max, I do have a question. Who is to blame for this? Because England have just appointed the Test batting coach. He was kind of interim, wasn't he? He was interim positions. He's got quite a lot of responsibility, Marcus Trescothick. He's been with the England team for quite a while. So is he to blame? Are the players to blame? Is Brendan McCullum to blame? Or should we just not blame anyone?
I've got four candidates.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you can blame England's lack of ability at playing spin,
don't let me say them.
A tale as old as time. Well, you asked me a question. You can answer it. Go on. You might not. I thought you'd have four completely different ones to me anyway.
No. These are the only four people. It's not about technique. We don't blame technique here, even though it is all about technique. This is personal.
Ollie Pope.
These are the only four people that can be to blame.
This must be what it's like to be on TalkSport, by the way. And we've got old Alan Brazil over it, and I want my opinion.
Yeah, but here's it. It could be Baz McCullum because either Bazball's gone too far or they've gone too far back from Bazball.
Okay,
right.
So it's gone full circle.
Yeah, they need to go back to the beginning.
They've done a 360 instead of a 180.
Yeah.
It's a classic mistake.
Yeah. Trescothick, as Ross outlined, needs to teach them how to bat properly. Mm-hmm. Arguably, that's a technique one, so feel free to throw that out on a technicality judge. Ben Stokes for playing maybe when he's injured, not being good against spin, being, and some reasons also related to McCullum and Bazball.
That was a really good leave. I loved it.
Ollie Pope for being vice captain and not scoring any runs.
Management issues. What you've gone with there? Full management issue.
No, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're all
man, like
leadership
Yeah,
positions,
the coach,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
coach, the batting coach, the captain, and the vice captain.
you blame one of the main characters, don't you? This doesn't work if we suddenly start talking about.
Here comes the
If we
kit man.
did-
He's to blame.
If we did a deep dive of Shoaib Bashir, no one would listen, would they?
No,
Come on.
Rob Key's coming out with.
Rob Key. Okay, Rax, you got a fifth one, wild card. Can you talk us through all 5 of them and tell us who's to blame?
Absolutely. Well, so we'll start with Baz McCullum, and I think you've got a good point there because there's the whole thing about Bazball is the relentless positivity, and positivity can go too far, can't it? Toxic positivity, that is a thing, and I think England is straying into that to the point of obnoxiousness and not paying any attention to actually what's going on. You know, there's a deficiency. They don't care. We're England. We're doing it right. We're saving Test cricket. There's a hubris, and they're being brought down a peg or two by a man called Sajid Khan, who likes bringing people down a peg or two. So there's
good
Baz.
moustache.
Yeah. Marcus Trescothick never moved his feet when he batted for England. How's he going to teach anyone how to play spin? Completely insane. No
Great
chance.
point.
Never
Great
going to
point.
work. Ollie Pope, I mean, we've spoken about it before, isn't he? He's too weak to be England captain. He can't be England captain and bat. And you know, that period of the captains is clearly laden him, and he will now never be able to play cricket ever again. So we should just get rid of him and send him back to the Oval where he can get some more
He
confidence.
did win when he was captain.
Didn't win a single
Spanner in
toss.
the
though.
works.
Didn't win a single toss.
Okay,
and,
yeah,
and
fair,
that is
fair,
where the
fair.
game's won or lost. Just ask Nasser.
Maybe he's
Hussain.
only good in the proper leadership positions. So it's like it's a prophecy.
Like
Like
back
he's named as the Pope,
head of HR.
and he should actually be top of the mountain. Like, I've got a halo here.
He's not Ollie
This would-
Cardinal, is he?
Yeah, no, he's not. This be fit for Ollie Pope. My little picture right now. Maybe that's the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So Pope
Ben-
struck off.
Yeah, Ben Stokes. He's got one leg, hasn't he? So that's his fault. Didn't fix his knee properly.
Okay.
It did feel like a bit of a
Yeah.
risk him coming back for the second test.
Cop out.
Did feel
I
a
didn't
bit-
mind
and like bowling wise, he hasn't been brilliant. Like coming back from an injury is really, really difficult, and he's come back from a pretty severe injury. Right, it's both been the knee and then the hamstring. So
I kind of think he was pretty good over the summer, wasn't he? Or have I completely imagined that?
Yeah,
I seem to remember him being.
no,
He was rubbish, was he?
he's not been great.
You go
this
back
year.
and check.
Didn't
Can you
do
go
a
back
lot.
and check that?
He didn't.
I know
do
he
a
didn't
lot
do it right.
with that, and
Ben Stokes, get the cricket numbers
Right,
up.
just
Yeah.
double check it. 'Cause we don't want to present. We don't want to present a narrative that is false. That's
No.
important.
No.
What I was going to say is that I think 4 poor scores when you come in on a pitch that they played an entire Test match on before, and then unleashed 2 fans on, and then a second pitch where they literally raked it to prepare it to spin more. I don't think that you can be like, oh, Ben Stokes has passed it, shouldn't have come back. I still think,
yeah,
he's
and the
one of
whole
England's
England. We
best
should throw the
players.
whole
Yeah.
England project out because they've gone and lost 2 games of cricket in these really normal circumstances.
I
You
do
two
think.
have changed. You two have
I
changed.
do think-
Since we started this podcast, you two have gone
I
woke.
know.
You've gone soft. You
Yeah,
have.
no, I was going to go
Unbelievable.
back. I do think saying it doesn't matter or I don't care if we're good at playing spin or not is a weird thing to say.
Right.
Like, normally, I actually quite like Stokes' messaging. I think he does a good job of keeping attention away from the team, being positive. That was a weird thing to say. Ross, Stokes, is he a busted flush?
So batting, I've got his batting numbers here.
Yeah.
He has had 19 innings in Test match cricket in 2024.
Yeah.
He averages 24.3.
Oh, great.
I'm surprised. He's played 19 innings.
That's
Well,
what
played
that's,
lots of
I've just.
innings.
I asked in the Crickmetrics Sage AI search
Oh,
for
yes,
this.
indeed.
So
Yeah.
if I'm going to trust, I'm going to trust AI.
No. That sounds about right because he played quite a lot in India, but he was playing as a batter, wasn't he?
Yeah, high score is 70. He's hit 4 50s and 0 hundreds at a strike rate of
The average-
65.
He did average 48 at home though, so
Okay.
you know.
That's
As we
good.
said earlier,
Anyway,
as we
I
said
think it's
earlier,
fair
who
to
cares
say
about playing away?
that. Yeah, who
Pointless.
cares? We're not going to blow. But personally, Ben Stokes is continuing. We actually like Ben
New
Stokes.
Zealand, New Zealand didn't win the World Test Championship on winning away, did they? They were home bullies.
We
Yeah.
haven't got to the bottom of the.
We
blame
did
game
lose
yet,
to
Max.
Sri
You
Lanka in
still
the
got
last
to do
home
Rob
Test
Key.
match, though, Max.
Max, you still
Get to
got to do
that.
Rob Key. Is he to
Rob-
blame? Why is
Rob
he to blame?
Key. Rob Key
all
is
gone
always to
quiet.
blame. He's just in the background, isn't he? He doesn't come up. He doesn't front up. He just pops onto TMS, does some weird interview, and then and he's back off onto the sunset. He needs to come out and be a proper leader for this England cricket team, and that's why it's all going horribly. I'm running out of ideas.
So who is to blame? This was your whole bit of the show. We're none the wiser. Golf.
Golf.
Golf. We forgot about golf.
Yes,
Yeah.
golf.
To be
do
fair,
think that
a lot of the shots they got out playing were quite golf-like.
Apparently, the golf course in Multan is top.
Yeah,
doesn't surprise me.
I've
That
heard.
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
overall it's a
actually
collective
quite
failure, isn't it? That's what leadership is now. Anyway, there's no one person you can attribute the blame to. It's a collective failure from England. But
That's what
we
the
have to heap praise on Pakistan. What they did was bonkers. It's like they're playing Yahtzee to do all of their decision making, and it has really paid off for them.
Yeah, I mean, what I was going to say, like, I'm actually stunned at how good the pitches were after what they did to them. Like, they practically dug them up with a garden fork, and apart from that, like you said, that one that kept low to Ben Duckett at the start, I mean, played pretty well. It's turned a lot, but it turned a lot kind of predictably, and you could see that in the fact that there were people who were actually able to score runs when it was difficult, but it wasn't like impossible. You didn't have balls just exploding off a length the entire time. Most of the time you could, there was something you could do to score runs and or not get out. And it's just England don't have the ability on those kinds of surfaces to deal with that. But I mean, produced 2 quite good games of cricket, so fair play.
Yeah, I suppose if that's what you want. If that's the argument you want to make, fair play, fair fucking play. Well done, Pakistan. One last thing, and wrap this up. I thought this was one in the eye for the Test cricket is won by bowlers brigade, because without Saud Shakeel getting 150, Pakistan probably still win the Test, but could have been closer. It could.
That's why it's only one
definitely.
finger in the eye. It's not 2 fingers in the eye. That's why I say one.
It could definitely.
I enjoy you getting the old finger out there as well, Jack.
It
There's
could definitely
there was
be
a lot of
closer.
wagging.
And the second finger in the eye is that if England could bat, then it could definitely have been different as well.
But we went for the sacrifice. We tried to sacrifice our vice captain, and the sacrifice didn't come off this time. It is what it is.
Right. Should we take a break? Then we'll come back. We've got India v New Zealand. Some Border Gavaskar Trophy hype building up as well. That should be good. And then we'll do a deep dive into the World Test Championship points table. How about that?
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Break.